here's the thing. Is it me? Is it really me? Yeah, it's me. So all my life, whenever I've wanted to know anything, there has never been a single person that could tell me. And I'm like, is there some sort of fucking conspiracy going on? Every single time, from as long as I can remember, when I wanted to know something, no fucker knew. And I'd phone up here, and I'd phone up there, and I'd phone up everywhere. All these institutions, government institutions, this and the other, where they're supposed to know shit, and they don't know the answers to the questions that I'm asking. Am I asking alien questions? It appears so, people, it appears so, because you're not supposed to ask impertinent questions. You're not supposed to ask how things work. You're most certainly not supposed to ask how government institutions work, because they even don't know. They just pass on to you what they're told that you're supposed to do. And they don't know anything else. They don't rationalise it. They don't have any rhyme or reason. They don't apply any logic. They're just gophers, just automata. And so that's how it's been in my life everywhere. That's why I've been forced into the esoteric, looking for the answers. And that's why now, comparatively, I know a vast amount more than the vast majority of people. And so I now have just been in the supermarket, and tonight I'm cooking chicken casserole. And so I'll make a cooking video about that for you guys that like that, and doubtless I'll have plenty to say in it. So I'm looking at the fresh herbs. I'm thinking, well, look, this time I want it to be a little bit different. I'm going to put different ingredients in. I'm going to use fresh herbs and that sort of thing, and have a different experience. Because invariably when I make this casserole, I make beef casserole. So I didn't fancy that today. So I looked up the aisle as I'm standing in front of these fresh herbs, and I saw an elderly woman about 75. And I thought, well, she must have brought a family up. She must have cooked a couple of fucking chicken casseroles in her life, right? So I'll ask her. And so I said, excuse me, love. And initially it's kind of like, is that ruffian talking to me? And when she's looking at me like this, I thought, well, in another world I would have run you through straight away for a face like that. I really would have. I would have run you through, bitch. But in this world, I forgave her for her transgressions, because that's how most people are. Horrible fuckers they are, and they feel affronted when you just randomly approach them anywhere, because you're infringing on, this is me, this is my time, this is my life, who are you? And it's like, any of you ever noticed, if you ask somebody the time randomly in the street, they look as if you're going to mug them, because they're all riddled with insecurity and terror, because there isn't a man among them, really. So anyway, I'm digressing. So I asked her, I said, I'm cooking a chicken casserole tonight, so could you advise me as to what fresh herbs I'll be putting in that? And she went, thyme. And I looked on the shelf and I said, oh, there's no thyme here. I said, I suppose I could get some in a dry bottled version. And then the supermarket attendant, who's about 35 years old, she says, oh, we don't do thyme. And I'm like, oh, great, the only one I want, and you don't do it. And so the old woman said, oh, you could put that in. And she's pointed to some chicken stock. And I'm like, I've already got stock. I've boiled a chicken carcass down. I've got the chicken stock, and I'm going to put in extra stock from cubes. And I'm going to add my seasoning and any other, probably some sage. But I'm just wondering, what other herb will make it a bit more, aromatic. And that's that. And she says, oh, I just put thyme in. I said, oh, so why do you put thyme in? Oh, because that's what you do. I'm like, why do you do that? He said, oh, I don't know. And I said, well, look, what does a chicken casserole taste like with thyme and without thyme? And she says, I don't know, because I've only ever done it one way. And I said, so you've never had a chicken casserole without thyme? Oh, I've always done it like that. I said, so what's thyme taste like then? She says, thyme. I'm like, well, can't you be a little bit more descriptive? Because I'm trying to get a picture of it in my mind's eye. what this chicken casserole is going to taste like. It says, no, it just tastes like thyme. Is it me? Is it me, people? So, the supermarket girl, another supermarket girl, she found some thyme. It was in a mixed herb, so it's got thyme, rosemary and sage. And so I'm just going to have a look on the internet to see what herbs are palatable to put in a chicken casserole. But I've got oregano, I've got sage, I've got thyme, fucking rosemary, and so I'm ready to go. But do people know anything? Does anybody really know anything? And the vast majority of people don't know anything, for sure. This is why, people, you've got guys on the circuit, you've got the same old on the circuit out there. You've got Richard Dawkins, you've got Sam Harris, you've got Jordan Peterson, you've got Deepak Chopra, if everyone wants a good laugh, because they just don't get the spiritual nature of the cosmos. They're too dry and consumed in their own self-inflated egos. But you get these guys, and they're paid like $100,000, people. Last time I heard, and this was like 4 years ago, Peterson's lowest bar was $75,000 for him to go out and sit on the stage. $75,000. And so I can well imagine it's skyrocketed since then due to his meteoric fame. And so, intellectuals like him, they have to scout across the whole world to find other intellectuals. The very, 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 very few people that can hold an intellectual conversation because they've got a very substantial knowledge bank over many years. And then you've got Douglas Murray and people like this. And of course, they've all wrote books. Now, when you write a book, people, here's something for you to bear in mind. Some of you are writing books out there. When you write a book, you have to know your stuff. Because you can't just be putting shit down what you think, because you make yourself look an idiot. So you've got to check your facts. And so when you're writing a book and you're thinking this and you've heard that and you've normally said this and that and the other, well, you have to check it. You've got to check. Because if you don't check and everything you've been putting down doesn't stand up to scrutiny, then nobody's going to have or give your book any credibility in anything you say, because like, this guy don't know what he's fucking talking about. So at least if there's something that can be checked as a fact, you have to have it quite on point. So you have to do that. When you do that, you become very familiar with the so-called facts that are out there, and you become very familiar with all your lines of argument and your pitch. And of course, when you've wrote a book and you've read it and you've read it and you've read it and you've changed it and you've made a million alterations and you've gone over and over and over it until you've worn yourself out, and then you can't see the wood from the trees, so you get an automated package to read it back to you, like there's some of these packages, you can get film stars reading your fucking books. So I even bought one of those so I can get Morgan Freeman reading my fucking book, I'm like, cool, Morgan Freeman's reading my book. No, there's some rap artist, an old school one, not Puff Daddy or any fucking thing like that. Is he a rap artist? I don't fucking know. But anyway, you get these people reading your book. And by the time then you're that absolutely familiar with all these things that you wrote in the book, then you can go on stage and you can make yourself available to answering questions on your book, because you've done the research, and then you have a knowledge bank and you've got some level of credulity. You see, in my experience, There isn't anybody out there that takes anyone serious unless they've wrote a book. Because if they haven't wrote a book, you've got nothing to bring them to account to. They have to absolutely either have written scientific papers or, got fucking a dozen PhDs in this and the other before the dumb fuck societies are going to take them seriously or even give them time of day. Because they have to fall into this realm of credulity. They've got to have the credentials of society. So writing a book, it gets you in there without having a PhD. And so when anybody's interested in what you've wrote, then they are forced to talk to you if nobody else is speaking on that subject with a PhD, right? So that's how it works. So, for instance, if you, like David Icke, who doubtless has a single GCSE to his name, but he's wrote over 30 books. And, he isn't ever invited onto any of these platforms where PhDs are always invited, because you might have got the idea by now, people, but whenever you've got these big platforms interviewing people, it's 90% PhD people. It's all the people that society will accept, because if you don't have a PhD, like Ike and like other people. I'm trying to think of this guy's name, the actor who's been out on the circuit, and the people have been ridiculing this or the other. Maybe I'll think of the name. But if you don't have a PhD, then nobody's going to be taking you seriously. They're going to be very, very sceptical. You can Terence Howard, right? He don't have a fucking PhD, but he has a very, very sharp mind, and he's self-taught, and he's come up with some amazing ideas. And some of his ideas have been ridiculed by scientists, and he's been labelled as a kook by some, but they can't deny his level of intellect because he's a very bright person. And so it might just be that these scientists just don't know what the fuck he's talking about. So anyway, by and by. But so what have people got to do to find people on a similar plane of intellect and thought? Well, they've got to travel the length and breadth of the fucking earth. They've got to do the research all over the globe. Who else is speaking about this, and who else has wrote books, and who's got a PhD and all that. And then you find it's the same old faces all over the fucking planet. Same old faces, people. You've got Donald Hoffman, and then you've got Bernardo Kastrup, and you've got the NASA scientist Tom Campbell. You've got all these people that we've seen. And invariably you just don't get anybody such as myself on any of these platforms. You're just going to get them on platforms like mine with 1,500 subscribers and get 25 clicks on their videos. That's what you're going to get. Until the world gives you the acclaim. And then when the world gives you the acclaim, then all of a sudden all the fucking Muppets will come running. Every single fucking Muppet under the sun will come running to your channel when you've been accredited by society. And, the sheeple fuckers. Sheeple motherfuckers. That's how it is, people. That's how it is. But you guys, the vast majority of you guys that, love what I do and my delivery and all that, you found a fucking rough diamond here. You found a rough fucking cut diamond. And that I could hold my own with any of these fuckers out there on the circuit. And, I'd be very willing to do so. I wouldn't shy away from talking to any of them. Absolutely none of them. Because I'm absolutely confident in what I know, because it's all premised on experience, people, and nobody can decry and take away my experience. When I speak about my experience, I can line up as a substrate to all of my experience, many mythological writings or spiritual writings or religious writings or this, that and the other, and it would be well in the realm of Deepak Chopra. It's the spiritual realm that only the most super bravest of people and the deepest of intellects will ever go into, like Aleister Crowley or oh god, why can't I think of shit today? Rudolf Steiner, Madame Blavatsky, and people like that, you know. Carl Jung, Nietzsche, all these people, brilliant brains, they studied the depth of stuff because they really wanted to know, and then they put the pieces together. But you see, the vast majority of the world, they have settled very happily with Muhammad and Jesus. They're like pigs in shit with those caricatures, and they would never ever dream or dare to go any deeper than that. And so, well, that's where the masses are, of course, and that's why these secret societies have always protected their information against the idiot masses. And so if you want to know it, then you've got to delve really deep. You've got to do really deep research, because that's the challenge, people. You're not getting to this stuff without putting in the vast amount of work. You ain't just getting it on a fucking YouTube video. I'm telling you now. You will get the surface scratched on the YouTube video, and there's a few people these days are pointing in the right direction, but very few. And this is why when you present it to people, when I present it to you, the vast majority of you haven't got a clue what I'm talking about. You think I'm bored and insane because the knowledge that I've got vastly exceeds anything you've ever looked into. And what I do know is all of the people that always tell me that I know more than you and you're lower than me and all this, I'm like, well, and I've said to every single one of them, and they'll be watching these videos now. Hello, here I am. I'm waiting for you to grow some balls and come and talk to me and impart all your fucking wisdom, because you're always telling me how I should live my life and what I should do and how I would become more evolved. I can't wait to fucking hear you. Tell it to my face. Come on. And I'm sure all my fucking viewers can't wait to hear from you already. And in actual fact, what I'll do, I'll shame you motherfuckers. I'll shame you motherfuckers in the comments, and I'll go, there he is, that's the one. Big mouth but no balls. Big mouth but no balls. You know, when you look at why people won't put their face on, what level of insecurity is that? And then some people go, oh, it's just people each to their own. Yeah, well, no. I'm not just accepting people each for their own. There's an underlying reason to it. And it's your fear and it's your fucking terror of putting your face out there. Maybe you're ugly as a mule. Maybe you live in a shithole. Maybe you don't know how to fucking rig up a fucking Google meeting. All this sort of stuff because you're too stupid. There could be a whole bunch of reasons. And I don't think I'm too far from the fucking point. You know, oh, you can fucking write and you can write, but you can't talk. And I'm like, what sort of cunts are these? You know, talking is the most elementary and simple and basic thing. Everyone could talk before they could write. So if you can write like a fucking poet, then you must be able to string a few sentences together. What is it? What is it with you fuckers? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. And so I call bullshit on your crap. You know, fucking, you know, look, on a softer note, I appreciate your input, and I appreciate that on some level you're shrinking violets. You just don't have the confidence to do what I do. You're not the man I am, and yet you try to tell me how to be a better man or more of a man. I'm as manly as it fucking gets, people. You know, I've got the Viking beard and the fucking hair and the muscles and the heart of a fucking lion. And so don't talk to me about being a fucking man. Yeah. So much to say, people, so much to say. So anyway, I'm just going to speak about something now. Several years ago, I was acquainted with somebody, and this person introduced me to a dying man. And I spoke with this dying man, and he had a channel, and he was interested in intellectual. And I became aware that he was given 2 months to live because he had a variety of cancer. And so I spoke to him again, as well as this other person, and I was privy to this other person making videos of this dying man in his home with his family around and a few friends, and they're all sitting down like they're in a mortuary, like he's been dead, 2 weeks already, but he was still living. He'd come out of his bedroom very, very frail and thin, and he would say to people, he'd say, love each other, love each other. That's all I want to say. But you won't listen. And he went back to bed and died. So the last words of a dying man: love each other. Because the only thing that he considered to be of value in the end was the love that he had shared with his wife, with his daughter, with his family and his friends. Because that's the only thing that was lasting and meaningful. The joy he shared. You see, this terminology, love, it supersedes joy and ecstasy and all this sort of thing. It's supposed to represent something which is more meaningful and long-lasting and undying in some instances, but it's all fiction. And so, his words of wisdom after being about 60 years old was, love each other, but you won't listen. And he was perfectly right. No, nobody will listen, because nobody's really interested in love, to be fair. They're not interested in this love, this real super love, this Jesus love, because it's unobtainable. It's absolutely, completely and utterly unobtainable. And people who are in a fantasy of being in that realm are the greatest pretenders you can ever meet, because they're not fucking Jesus. They're not this fiction, because Jesus was a fictional character, and nobody could ever live up to the Son of God's love, because it's the highest of the high. And when you've got idiots proclaiming, I love Jesus, Jesus loves me, and I'm loving and I'm kind, you're full of shit. And I despise you beyond measure. I really do. Just accept that you're a fucking poisoned human being. You're a failed species, and there's evil running through your fucking heart. You tell me that, and I'll have the greatest of sympathy and compassion for you. But you tell me you're love and light, I'll say, go fuck yourselves. Go fuck yourselves, you frauds. And so, when we look at love, like I've looked at love, I've looked at so many things so very, very deeply. And any of you that want to contest anything I say, or you want to hear more, then you really should read my fucking book. It costs you 20 quid. A Journey to the Self. If you're really that interested, invest that 20 fucking quid. Buy it for your fucking Christmas present, for fuck's sake, people. And so then when you read the depth of it, you'll know where I'm coming from, and you'll know why I say everything I say, and I'll back it up in the book with time-served geniuses which have said this sort of stuff. But love, as far as I'm concerned, is just a chemical in the mind. And I've proven it on a billion occasions. And I've proven that love is fallacious. It's a fallacy. It's whimsical. It's here one minute and it's fucking gone the next. For instance, you think your partner loves you. You go and shag someone else and they find out about it. All of a sudden the love's gone. And you go, oh darling, sweetheart, where's that love gone that you had only 4 hours ago, before you knew I'd fuck your best friend? Well, yeah, I don't know where that's gone, actually, to be fair. It's gone. I'm not sure whether it even existed. Did it exist? Or is it just a figment of my imagination? Because how could it have just disappeared? How could it have just been superimposed upon? How could it have been replaced by hate and despise and all those sort of things now? Oh, a very fine line between love and hate. It's just the case of a switch in one's mind. It's bullshit, people. It's a fantasy. What is love? It's a hope that you're going to be cherished forever. It's a hope that someone's going to give you security. It's a hope that someone is going to offer you their companionship and their support. You're begging and you're pleading, and you deny him anything else which could ever take your love away, and you're terrified every single day of somebody else stealing your love. And you live in fear constantly. And anyone says, oh, I don't live in fear, I'm perfectly secure with my wife or my husband. Oh, go fuck yourselves. You're dreaming. You're fucking dreaming, people. You are riddled with fear. You're absolutely riddled with fear. The only thing that you would be misinterpreting for your lack of fear is that you don't really give a fuck and you don't really love, because you don't know what love is. You may be a sociopath, a psychopath, lots of things like that, who have never experienced love, so you don't know what the fuck it is. I've experienced very, very deep, profound love in many ways, people, so I know what it is, but I know it's fickle nature, and I know it comes and I know it goes, and I know it's not the be-all and the fucking end of this universe, because if it was, then that's all there would be here. But it isn't. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that we can experience and contend with and enjoy. And many people, like me, I enjoy jousting. I enjoy upsetting people, or giving them the opportunity to upset themselves. And then I go, ha 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 ha, you're a fucking idiot. Look how you've upset yourself. I've not done a single thing. All I've been doing is speaking words. Are my words that powerful that it make you feel all these different things inside? Wow, I must be a wizard. I must be a genius. I must be very, very dangerous. You listen to my words, and if you're affected by my words, I must be very, very dangerous, and you must exercise extreme caution when listening to me. Yes, because I can do all different sorts of evil things and loving things, and I can put you in a state of ecstasy if I want to. I can tell you about the beauty and the joy of this environment, and I can wax lyrical about the natural world and everything, and I can seduce you, and I can bring you into my confidence, and then I can bite into your neck and suck your blood. Yes. That's the awakened brave, people. He's everything. He's everything. He's the cosmos. Nobody else is the cosmos. Only the awakened brave in the whole wide world. Find another awakened brave. Find somebody else that speaks to you like this, which embraces all facets of the cosmos, all facets of love and hate and all that different sorts of stuff. Find another one. That's your task. Find another one. And don't just say, oh, this person speaks a little bit. Oh, you've said it all before. Pointing to these fucking retards who speak a little bit. They speak about 1/5 of like what my repertoire is. And then you think, oh, he sounds like you. Oh, you'd have a good conversation with him. I'd fucking lose him in an instant. I'm too deep. I'm too wild. I'm too out there. I'm too crazy. Too crazy. Fine line between madness and genius, people. Which is it? Which am I?